Okay, so this evening is June 2nd, and I just did a video a few days ago, and I wanted to clarify a couple things in this video that I had mentioned in just a couple videos ago about the issues that I had with the Army Board of Corrections under President Obama, and I wanted to clarify that my understanding is the issue there has to do with, my issues were corrupt people at the Pentagon. And so I believe there's still an issue with deep state players at the Pentagon that are there, with messing with these type of things still. So, like practically, my understanding is like practically every single organization in our government got infiltrated with the deep state. Under, I don't know how long it's been exactly, but certainly under Obama, that was a big issue. So I believe that that the issue with the Army Board of Corrections is most definitely an issue with the deep state, is my understanding. So I wanted to clarify that. Not an issue with President Trump, it's an issue with the deep state. So I wanted to clarify that. So, but then I also wanted to mention about how I had issues with the Minneapolis police when I first moved back from Arizona. And I had mentioned this in a video in the past, and it was so bad. But prior to that, I mean, I'm from Minnesota, and I never had any kind of issues with the Minnesota police. So it was just they got bad within the last few years or whatever. And I personally don't think that I think some of these cops are actually not normal cops. I think, that's the other thing, is that they might be deep state cops, and so they might be actually, plants put in the police department, to create, to create these to working for the deep state, So that's just my opinion. I personally think that these cops that I had encountered in Minneapolis, and same thing happened to Timothy Holmseth too. They were not normal cops. They were really terrifying cops. There's some of these, and because I know how normal cops act, and none of these cops acted anything normal. It was so bad that I had to move out of state. And that's how I ended up in South Dakota, is because the cops were terrorizing me in Minneapolis so bad. And so that's the one thing I wanted to mention then. And, so obviously there's a big issue in Minneapolis with the police. And but also I had mentioned in another video about how when I moved back from Arizona to Minnesota, how I was just shocked at how much Minneapolis had changed as far as like the Muslim population that was brought in. I mean, Minneapolis got 46,000 Muslims, I believe. So that, was the whole look of downtown Minneapolis had changed. And that was really, dramatic to me. And I had made a comment to somebody, and we were talking to somebody that some lady that had worked with Border Patrol or something, and she said, yeah, tell me about it. I don't even think they were properly vetted. Like she said she doesn't even think that like half of the people that were brought into Minneapolis were properly vetted, and that if people in Minnesota only knew, they should be standing up and demanding and like suing the Lutheran Brotherhood who brought them in. That's what she was saying to me, and I was mentioning that to some people in Minnesota, and it's like, and then now all these riots happening there, okay, and then all these people were brought there several years ago on purpose. Now, how do we know that these people that were brought in to Minneapolis are not now a part of the riots. Were they brought in? Were they brought in for these type of reasons to Minneapolis to be a part of the riots? I certainly think so. I think that that's very much, that could be a possibility. And that was my concern when I first heard about it. Like, how do we know that these people are brought in for legitimate reasons to Minnesota? And have they been properly vetted? And the riots everywhere. How do we know these people are even legitimately here? And any of these people are. Also, I wanted to mention a couple other links here to how I started putting the pieces together in Arizona of things that seemed to add up to things that didn't seem right. It seemed like it involved some deep state or some kind of, I'll just read them. Because, I was doing research for many years about this, about just Arizona in general. When I first started having all these issues in Arizona, I started putting pieces together. I'd hear a story here, I started putting links together. And I think, okay, this all, I've never seen the type of things that I saw in Arizona in other states that I've lived. So this was one of the articles that I found. And actually this happened when I was there, when I was living there. So, and I believed that this involves trafficking. So it was in August 24th, 2009. And I remember this because Highway 60 was shut down for like 7 hours. Okay. So there was a woman killed while crawling on US 60. Was it a homicide? Okay, you can look this article up. Police investigating a woman's death shut down the freeway for hours. Her name was Kelsea Conway. She was 21. She was hit by at least 2 cars while crawling across the freeway on a Friday morning. Okay, so what is this woman doing crawling across the highway? Okay. And it says the investigators still don't know why the woman was crawling across the highway. Okay, so it was it was never solved. And, was this woman a victim of human trafficking? I believe so. Now that we know so much more about human trafficking, I believe this woman back in 2009 was probably some kind of a victim of some kind of trafficking thing that went bad or something. But then if you remember also, just a couple of years ago, we lost Isaac Cappy, who was that Hollywood actor who was trying to expose a lot of things in Hollywood. And then you remember how he ended up dead. Or no, I'm sorry, it wasn't even a couple of years ago. It was like a year ago. And he ended up dead on on an Arizona freeway, being run over. Okay, so there's that piece of the puzzle that I was remembering that story of that woman, and I thought, well, see this all could be the deep state of McCain's deep state. All these people that died. These are probably all deep state players that were involved in these murders. So that's what I'm saying. This is the deep state. This is McCain's deep state. I've been putting these pieces together for a long time now. And then there was another story that I found in Arizona that was September 20th, 2016. There was this woman killed on a Phoenix freeway. I'll leave these links under my videos. But her name was Dina Farmer. So she was on the phone with 911. She was saying, she was begging for help. She said, these people have been following me, pursuing me for like a week now, or weeks, or a couple weeks or something. It was 3 men in a truck. She's on the phone. She said, they're right next to me. And so she'd been asking the police for help and 911 and whatever. And They finally shot her right there while she was on 911. Apparently nobody came to her rescue. So, to me, that sounded like a fishy story too. Maybe these are deep state players that were involved in her shooting. Like maybe she knew too much. There was things happening in Arizona that I've never heard these type of things happening in other states that I've lived. Like they were real suspicious. So this is how I started putting the pieces together about what is going on here in this state. So those are just a couple things. There's more, but I wanted to just clarify that one thing about the Army Board of Corrections. We have deep state infiltration everywhere that needs to be cleaned up everywhere, and it most certainly was all over the Pentagon and all kinds of different areas in our government. So I hope President Trump deploys the troops, and because I don't believe these people are even, this is a legitimate riot. I think these are paid protesters, and they're probably part of a deep state agenda. So I absolutely think that he should deploy the troops and arrest these people. So that's just my opinion, and I wanted to just clarify some things. Okay, thank you.